Hi, my name is Eric Burnskill from XLD Studios, and in this video, I want to talk about moving a website from a live environment to a dev environment, or from a dev development environment into a live environment. So when would you do this? So if you are developing a new website, you have an existing website, it's easy to go ahead and set up the new website on a separate server or a separate account and development environment where you can do all the changes without people seeing it, without being afraid to mess up. And then when you're ready, you can just move this entire WordPress install into your old live site. So that's what I'm going to walk you through. Now, the first thing that you will need to do, and this is a bit outside the scope of this tutorial, but it is moving all the files. So there's two parts to this. One's moving the files and one's moving the database itself. And the database is what has all of the posts, the pages, all the settings that's in the database. But you want to, through an FTP client, go ahead and move all the files, all the WordPress files in your directory over to your live site. So I'm going to assume that you've done this already. So when you've done that, it's time for the database. And most web hosts online use something called phpMyAdmin to manage their databases. Now, phpMyAdmin lets you go in, see tables, see all these fun things about the database, but it's a great graphical user interface. Well, great. It works to export and import databases, and that's what we're going to do right now. So I have here on my left-hand side the database that I want to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go scroll right through. I'm not going to mess with anything in here. I'm just going to click check all. With selected, I'm going to click export. And I'm going to go into the custom export just to make sure that the output here is set to save it to a file, because I want this to a file on my computer. I'm going to click go, and as you see, it's downloaded a file.sql with the database in it. Now, the next thing that you want to do is upload this to your live server. And this means to a blank database somewhere else. I've got one here that I can use, which is currently empty, and you need to make sure it is empty. Now, before you do anything, before you decide to drop tables, remove tables in a database, before you decide to do any changes here and there, please do make sure you have a solid backup, because things that you do to a database cannot be easily undone. Meaning, if you do a change or if you decide to drop some tables, remove something, they will be gone forever. So please do make sure that you have a backup before you proceed to do this. If you have a backup and something goes bad, you can just restore it. No harm done. If you don't have a backup, you might not be so lucky, and this could prove to be something terrible. So with the backup in place and with my empty database here, I'm going to go click import here. And I'm going to select from my computer, from my downloads, I'm going to select this SQL file right here. Click open and just scroll down, let the default settings be, and click go to import this. And it's going to happen fairly quickly. It's going to say import's been successfully finished, it's executed some queries, blah, blah, blah. And we have our structure here. We've got all the tables, everything moved over. Now there's just one little issue here. Our development site or live site, if we're moving the other way around, has another URL most likely. So it might be called, if this was burnskilledmedia.com, my dev site might be called dev.burnskilledmedia.com, or it might be a completely different domain name. Or in my case, I had a local environment, so I called mine burnskilledmedia.local. We need to change this, because when you go to the live site, otherwise WordPress is going to try and route all links to this other domain name. You're not going to be able to sign into your WP admin, because it's going to think that the WordPress install, the setting for the WordPress install, is another domain name. Now, some people would recommend you to go and open this SQL file before you import it and do a find and replace inside of there. Don't do that. WordPress stores some settings in what's called serialized strings in the database. And just doing a find and replace means you're going to lose all that. The most common thing that's stored in these serialized strings is all your widgets. So if you do a find and replace inside of there, all your widgets are essentially most likely going to vanish. The better way is using a little free script. So there's a script called search replace, basically. It's from interconnect it, and you can just download it from here. They've just got a new version 3, which is a greatly improved version of a script that basically everyone's using to migrate WordPress sites. So what you need to do is download the version, the most current version here, to your computer. And you want to unzip this, of course. And then what you want to do is take this entire search replace DB master folder and upload this to your server through FTP. And once you've done that, what you're going to do, so I am on a local development environment here, so I'm going to do localhost. I'm going to go to search, so if I can spell search replace DB master, and it's going to load up this script for me. Now, this is fairly self-explanatory, but I'm going to walk you through this. So the first thing is I'm going to enter the string that I want to be replaced in the database. In my case, I have the domain name burnskilledmedia.local that I would like to replace with burnskilledmedia.com. And the database here is basically the database that I'm connecting to. If you have this script uploaded to your root directory, which is the same directory as wp-config.php or wp content, it will try and read the database connection settings for you from your WP config file. So you most likely don't have to enter anything in here. If it can't read it or it can't connect for some reason, you can easily enter these settings yourself. So I'm going to enter the database here, and I have a user, database user, and I have a password. And the host here is the local host. So if I click update details here, oh, it said access denied. I wonder why. I spelled something wrong. Sorry, it's demo user, of course. So update here, and it says, no error. Everything's fine. And I can, if I want to, select either a couple of tables, if I just want to do some selective find and replace, or if you want to move, all you want to do is go the all table setting here. So if you want to see just what this is going to do to your database before you run it live, you can click dry run. It is not actually making any replacements, but you can see the cells which were changed. And then when you're ready, you can do a live run. It's really going to prompt you, are you sure? Do a backup before you do this. I'm going to click OK. It's going to count down, and then it's going to do the find and replace. And replacing, changing the strings on the database. And that's basically all there is to it. When you're done with this, though, make sure you remove this from your server. If you don't delete it, others can just go right in here. And remember, this is a common script, so people know to look for this. Go ahead and remove this, or someone else could replace anything in your database and basically hack your site. But just remove it and you are going to be fine. And what you've done is moved a WordPress install from one server to another, whether that's changing domain names, moving from a dev environment to a live environment, vice versa, or moving in any other way. This is basically how to take care of the database and make sure it is moved correctly. So when you go to your domain name, the site's going to be fine and moved over for you. Thank you for watching this video. Again, my name is Eric Burnskilled from XLD Studios. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.